Jim, our next question via the Cult of Cornette Facebook group was sent in by Brad Spellich.
You're making all this up.
That is his name. It's right here with his picture. It's his name. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Got his social security number? What kind of dossier do you have on these people?
All right, well, here's his question.
You better be using ExpressVPN there, fella.
Brad.
Spellich. Well, you can spell it.
Or it could be Spellick, but I believe it's Spellich. But what were the last things, the Midnight, Yoko, or any of Jim's clients would do before going to the ring? Like, before leaving the locker room, would someone say a couple of things to get everyone pumped to go? A la what a team coach or captain would do? Anything like that. Any sort of, when you have a regular person you're going to the ring with, let alone a tag team, does anyone just have some bands get together and pray before they go on stage? Or, anything?
Actually, well, me and the Midnight, whether it was Bobby and Dennis or Bobby and Stan, were generally, the two of us were browbeating Bobby Eaton about something in a fun, frolicky way, or, just winding him up or taking the piss out of him or whatever. There was nothing set that we would do. It's not like anybody was, like I've seen the thing where Goldberg would fire himself up by headbutting the lockers and all that shit. And he'd go out and go, fuck, no wonder he was potatoing people. We're goddamn telling jokes. Maybe, I'll stick my tennis racket in between my legs with the handle facing out and walk up behind Bobby so the handle pokes him in the butt. And Corny, what the fuck? And he's got to go out. And
well, I guess the question's kind of like, did Yokozuna ever just turn around and regularly say, all right, it's bonsai time. You ready?
No, he would, okay, here we go. Or he might say to Fuji, okay, uncle, you first. Or what, but there was no goddamn routine. There was no, to Dick Murdoch, there was no telling what he might do. He had a thing every time we would go out in the arena, if he would, in the breezeway in the back, if he would pass a payphone, he would stick his finger in the fucking change slot and see if anybody left a quarter. But I mean, no, there was no, because we were doing this. It wasn't like, people would stretch and they'd warm up in the locker room, or they'd do some calisthenics, or Stan would do his, little martial arts stances or whatever, just to warm up a little bit while cutting up verbally. But it was not a big, at least for me and anybody, that I'd make sure I'd taken my glasses off and put them somewhere I could find when I got back. And that there was no big extravagant thing we went through. We did it all the fucking time. It wasn't a big goddamn nerve-wracking thing to go out and just have a match.
Do you remember anyone having something, even if it was an annoying thing, like they always said the same thing right before they went out or anything?
I remember Jimmy Valiant's warm up when he was the Boogie Woogie Man in the mid '80s. Would consist of him walking up to a wall and putting his palms flat on it and doing push-ups while he was standing but he was pushing up on the wall. So it was like a Batman thing, climbing the bat rope. If you turned it, and then he would shake his hands at the wrists and do ha-cha, ha-cha, and that would be his warm-up.
But no one had any kind of big thing where just, all right.
I'm trying to think.
Let's do it. Like they always said the same thing. No example at all, ever.
I guess, Terry Garvin would go through 4 or 5 ring boys.
Oh, see, that's awful. What kind of joke is that to make right now?
Oh, come on.
Horrible. What a horrible
What kind of a joke is it? Well, sexual assault is in. It's all over the president's cabinet. That's a requirement.
What kind of things did you and your clients, what did they say actually to you before going out? I don't know, but let's talk about the pervert. But Jim, thank you for your question, Brad.
Yeah, Brad.
Jim, another couple questions before we wrap things up.